We're starting Psalm 46, and we'll dive a little deeper tomorrow. But we read the first verse this past week. God is our refuge and strength. So he's a place to hide. I want you to think of that in terms of rest and sustaining and protection. But then think of this, and strength. Why do we need strength? I think the answer to that is we need strength so that we can do what God has given us to do. I've been really focusing my heart and mind, especially since the new year, since January, on not every opportunity that's coming my way, but the God opportunities, the God assignments. I've been asking God for wisdom to differentiate between what is simply an opportunity versus what is an opportunity that He has given to me, that He has orchestrated, that is within the bounds of His will. There's lots of opportunities, lots of things I can do with my time and energy, but not all of it is the will of God. Not all of it is an assignment from God. And you know, when I really ask myself, what are my assignments? A lot of things are taken off the table. A lot of options just are taken right off the table. And decisional clarity is so much easier when you're looking at the lens of what has God given me to do. Because what God has given me to do really boils down to just a handful of things. And I love being able to say no to all the other stuff so that I can say yes to the few things that God really wants me to focus on. One of them is talking to you right now. But that's why we need strength. And the point that I want to make is this is not a time simply to find refuge. That's sort of restful, almost passive. We're waiting on God. We're hiding in God. We're finding comfort and encouragement. And there's something, could I use the word convalescing about that? Our souls, our minds, our spirits right now are kind of convalescing, okay? But we need strength because there's an engagement as well. And there are assignments in a moment like this. And in a moment like this, the clarity of our assignments becomes even greater. We get crystal clarity because so many things we can't do, so many things that we would be doing right now, we simply can't do them. And so the question is, what does God want to give me strength for? In other words, what does He call me to and to engage in? What acts of service? What words of ministry? What does He call me to do? And what does He intend my strength that He gives me to be used for? Okay, so strength is to be expended. We eat, our body is given strength and fuel so that we can live our lives, right? Well, when we read that God is our refuge, that's a resting and a dependence on Him. When we read that God is our strength, that is an active expenditure for Him. And so here's what I want to encourage you to do this week. God, why have you given me strength? What is the strength to be spent on, okay? See your strength as a resource, like your finances. God, what do you want me to spend my money on? But God, what do you want me to spend my strength on? This strength that you've given to me. Listen, it's not just for you to sit and feel strong. It's not simply for you to exist, okay? It's strength to accomplish, achieve, engage in God's assignments. It may be loving your spouse. It may be praying. You may be locked up and not able to go out because you're at risk. Well, you can pray. You can jump online and send a loving encouragement, an email. You can send a text message to a hurting friend. There's a lot you can do. You can share the gospel. You can share a gospel presentation. You can email the Done book to somebody. You can do something on mission. And God's given you strength for something and for someone. And so I challenge you. So look at verse 2 very quickly. Therefore will not we fear. You see, the psalmist is giving a choice here. And he's saying, I have strength, I have help in a time of trouble, but I have a choice. Will I fear or faith? Will I fear or will I engage? You see, fear causes us to hold back, to pull back, to disengage, to not take risk. But strength, the word strength kind of says, come on, lean into it. Press into it. God's going to give you strength. And so what I see here is a deliberate engagement, kind of a decisional leaning into hardship. Look at what he says. Though the earth be removed, though the mountains be carried into the sea. That's pretty extreme language. Though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof. So what he's saying is, God is my refuge and strength. He's my help, and I'm not going to fear, basically no matter what. I see all these terms, and I just think of earthquakes. Excuse me. I think of the 30-plus years I spent living in California. In California, the earth shakes a lot, and it's not uncommon that you feel things shifting, and suddenly you see a lamp moving, and you see things vibrating in your house, and you start to wonder, do I need to find shelter? Do I need to find shelter? You do get afraid. If it lasts more than a second or two, you start to think, do I need to go stand in a doorway? Do I need to jump under a table? I'll never forget the Northridge quake. Dana and I were sound asleep. It was about 4 or 5 in the morning, I think, and suddenly the house began to move. And we only lived about 45 minutes from the epicenter of that quake in Southern California. Freeways collapsed. I mean, it was a major thing, a major event. And I'll never forget, my first thought was, I sat up in bed, I felt like the whole bed, it felt like I was sleeping on a water bed. The whole bed was moving. And I jumped up and I ran into Lance's room. He was an infant at the time, and I scooped him up. And I can't remember if Larry was born at that time, but I think I got both the kids, brought them into our bed, and we just kind of huddled there and waited for that earthquake to pass. And sure enough, it did. It lasted longer than any earthquake I'd ever experienced. And it was jolting. And I turned to my wife in the dark there, and I just said, wow, I don't know where that was, where the center of that was, but there's some pretty serious damage that happened. Now, I'll tell you, in an earthquake, your senses just tell you, go get someplace safe. Get into a doorway, get someplace safe where things can't fall on you. Run into hiding. But this psalmist says, yeah, I'm going to hide in God and find refuge, but he's given me strength and help, and I will not react in fear. I will lean into this knowing that I am secure, and my God will help me, and my God will be my strength. And I will not fear. And what I love about the psalmist is he's documenting, he's declaring his faith. I think one of the greatest things we can do as believers right now is not simply not fear in and of ourselves, but to let our lack of fear or our choice to reject fear to compel us to verbalize, to declare our faith, and to say, I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid of this disease. I don't want it, but I'm not afraid of it. And I'm not living in fear right now, though the earth be removed, though everything seems tumultuous and unpredictable, I'm not afraid. And let me tell you why I'm not afraid. Because I know my God through Jesus. And you know what? There's a great segue into the gospel, or there's a great segue into, let me email you a digital book and encourage you to read it. So friend, I want to encourage you today to find your strength in God and to act on that strength, to spend that strength, invest it into serving others and fulfilling your God-given assignments. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm going to rest on Monday and recuperate a little bit, and then I will look forward to being live with you again on Tuesday at noon. I hope you'll share the video. Hope you'll visit enoughfortoday.church, share a prayer request. We'll be praying for you all throughout the week. If you have a need, please let us know by calling or emailing us at the church. Church family and friends, we love you. Be safe. Be courageous in Christ. And we'll see you tomorrow.